Hello, everybody. We finally have a patch for the game. It's here. I have the patch notes sitting right in front of me. Now, it's important to note this update is only live on PC right now, and I have word from Gearbox directly that they are very quickly working on the console side of things. The goal is to have both synchronized, but just how the nature of console works, they're going to be slightly delayed. But this patch should be live on consoles very soon. Now, if you didn't know, Risk of Rain 2 is in a pretty bad state, so hopefully this patch fixes a lot of stuff. The main two bugs that need to be fixed: number one, game logic being tied to FPS. This affects runs in multitudes of ways. Most importantly, enemies literally deal more damage. The director spawns more enemies and harder enemies, and there's a bunch of things. So that needs to be fixed, number one. And number two, the warped echo needs to be fixed on Mithrix. Specifically on Mithrix, also scavengers as well. It is the source of an invulnerability bug. So as long as we see director not being affected by FPS, or just the game logic not be affected by FPS, and the warped echo being fixed, this will be a solid patch. Let's dive into it. Hey everyone, I want to start off by mentioning how much we appreciate folks jumping in and giving Secrets of the Storm a swing. We've never had so many people play Risk of Rain 2. We also hear you loud and clear. Wait, what? We've never had so many people playing Risk of Rain 2. Did we break the... Hold on. Surely not. All right, here we go. We click that. Boom. And we go all-time peak 9 days ago. Wow. All right, also hear you loud and clear. The DLC fell short of expectations. That is absolutely true. All right, anyway, let's read the actual patch notes though. Resolve the bug with the way builds are compiled that led to many behaviors being erroneously tied to FPS. The first one that we see. God bless America, dude. Included physics, attack speed, and movement, not the result of any significant architecture change. The bug that created this issue has been addressed. Okay, good. Some players reported where Mithrix would become invincible upon stealing your warped echo. That is literally the second fix. However, it wasn't just Mithrix, guys. It was also scavengers. So hopefully they included scavengers here. I'm assuming they did. Teleporter can no longer spawn inside of geometry and Rally Point Delta, so that is pertaining to nodes on a map. When you spawn into a map, it just allocates random nodes with chests and other spawns. The teleporter is one of them, and it could be inside of the closed crates on Rally Point, so inaccessible to your run. So they fixed that as well. Acrid should be now back in action if you played Acrid before and you played him on the DLC. Big difference between the two. Most notably, his utility skills could not actually collide with enemies, so that's not been fixed. Cool. Resolved an issue with items not being picked up when interacted with. Large number of stacks. Okay, so this has to be the aspect bug. If you had it, I thought this bug was tied only to the elite aspects. If you had one in your inventory in your equipment slot, and then you just stood over an item, it would just constantly give you the item over and over and over. So it sounds like this has been fixed. They didn't mention elite aspects here, so maybe it was tied to other things as well. The item highlights are back. The multi-shop's not a big deal, but the adaptive chest, that's actually quite a big deal because it starts going so quickly that if you don't have the highlight, it's very hard to decipher what the item is. Restored the full screen damage indicator and low health feedback. That was a huge complaint from a lot of players. You would just lose your health and be like, wait, what the heck just happened? I didn't see any hit on me. This is a big one, actually. Health bars updating very slowly has been resolved. I thought that was tied to the damage indicators. Seems like there were two separate issues. They both have been resolved. So now when you get hit, it should be totally obvious that you got hit. That's awesome. The Halcyonite spawn rate won't be as like jittery and blocky when he spawns in. Resolved the issue with Seeker's Sojourn ability. I didn't even know this was a problem until yesterday. Last stream, someone was like, yo, dude, in multiplayer, only the host can use Sojourn. Literally an entire ability on the character. If two people were running it, only one person could use it. So that's been fixed. That's good. You can now pick up Chef's food drops from farther away. That's actually a very good change. I've been starting my Chef grind, the Chef Eclipse grind, and that's been very annoying to try and pick those things up. So that's pretty good. The Bolstering Lantern logbook is finally no longer highlighted all the time. The Imp Overlord spikes were sometimes not dealing damage. That's now been fixed. Kind of a nerf overall, but that's all right. No more lightning damage during the False Sun cutscene. The Warped Echo plus Heretic bug has been resolved. Sonorous Whispers had an issue of the drop chance would become extremely high, especially later on. Been rebalanced. Elite item drop chance went from 15 to 4%. That's a pretty big nerf. It's warranted because Sonorous Whispers, I don't know how to pronounce it, is a very, very, very strong item. It's probably the strongest item in the game overall, period. Now it is still very good, but definitely not nearly as strong. Just to put this nerf in perspective, the total amount of drop chance from elites at 2 stacks is not even as high as the second stack bonus alone, pre-nerf. So very large nerf to the item. However, it's warranted, and it's still going to be a very strong item. You're still going to see plenty of stuff dropping for this, just not nearly as OP as it was. However, I don't know why they're calling this had an issue where the drop chance could become extremely high. It sounds like it was unintentional, but they didn't state specifically it was unintentional. It just sounds like they made the item way too strong and like, oops. So I don't know what's going on there. Apparently, there was an issue where sometimes you'd press your skill and it just wouldn't activate straight up. That's been resolved. I personally haven't run into that issue, but that's awesome. That's been fixed. The permanent False Sun special ability beam laser has been fixed. It's no longer permanent. Another accurate fix here. Apparently, he wasn't able to hit enemies or spread his poison with his special, so that's also good. And that's pretty much it for the update. So overall, again, like I said at the very beginning of the video, as long as those two big bugs were addressed, the FPS issue and then the warped echo just preventing your run from continuing, as long as those were fixed, there's going to be a pretty good patch, and both of those were fixed, along with a plethora of other things. I'll leave a link to the patch notes in the description below. Now, do I think this patch is going to solve all the issues with the DLC? No, definitely not. If the DLC had 0 bugs whatsoever, I would still rate the content like a 6, honestly, a 6 out of 10, maybe a 6.5 or a 7 if you like really enjoy Risk of Rain 2 and you've been craving more content, but 6 out of 10 for the most part, and that's with 0 bugs. So we still have a few more bugs, but they should be mostly minor from now on. Now the next patch, what I'm looking for personally is balance. I want balance changes, specifically with the DLC stuff. A lot of things are undertuned. A lot of things don't really fit with the current state of Risk of Rain 2. And then I would love to see some vanilla balance changes. However, I understand that Gearbox probably doesn't want to touch the ho-poo things, you know, of the game. They want to leave it mostly as it was. But I would like to see stuff like yellow items being buffed, like the vast majority of boss items are just trash. A lot of green items could use a pretty significant buff, things like that. But that would be later down the line. But mainly the next patch I want to see is going to be balance changes to the DLC things. All right, let me know what you guys think. If you guys encountered any new bugs, or if some of these were stated that they were fixed, but they weren't actually fixed, and you guys are playing the game, let me know in the comments. That would be very unfortunate, obviously. But hopefully, this patch addresses most of the major issues. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.